It's not that hard to understand your Russian teacher or audio materials in class. So why? Why do native Russian speakers have to talk so quickly and make it so difficult to understand what they are saying? Is there some way to understand informal, real Russian speech? Hi, I'm Dennis, co-founder of Learning to Know Russian. Thank you for joining us. Welcome! Anyone who has studied a foreign language knows how difficult it is to understand a native speaker. It's not because you don't know enough words. You might know a million words, but still find it impossible to understand a native speaker. Take movies, for example. When you're watching a movie with subtitles, it's easy to understand. But as soon as you turn off the subtitles, the Russian words become difficult to separate and understand. Everyone is just talking too fast. But is the problem really how fast the native speakers are talking? I've got some good news for you. Check out this English sentence, for example. She told me to go to the shop and buy her milk, bread and cheese. Now, the same idea expressed in Russian. Она сказала мне пойти в магазин и купить ей молока, хлеба и сыра. In English, there are 15 syllables. In Russian, there are 23 syllables. What does that mean? It means that Russian words are longer and that you need more time to say something in Russian. Russian is slower than English. Speed isn't the main thing that makes it difficult to understand Russian speech. I have a friend named Oliver. He studied Russian for many years and could write beautifully, but he refused to have conversations in Russian. He told me the reason was that he struggled to understand what was being said. Holding a conversation in Russian was torture for him. A teacher suggested that Oli watch movies in Russian, so he watched a lot of movies and TV shows, and it helped, but his progress was still very slow. Just like my friend Oliver, a lot of Russian language students listen to all sorts of materials in Russian. They might watch movies and listen to audio podcasts for several hours each day. But the ability to understand Russian speech improves very slowly. Here's why. When we watch movies, we usually don't understand a lot of the words. If we get frustrated, we cheat and use subtitles. Eventually we might just lose interest. I'm not saying that you shouldn't watch movies in Russian. Even if you don't understand everything, it's a lot of fun and it helps to motivate you. But you must understand that it is a very passive, slow way to learn a language. You won't magically understand phrases by listening to them once. It's going to take 3 or 5 times before you begin to understand something. I'd suggest memorizing or even writing down this simple fact. It's better to listen and take apart a 15-minute audio 10 times than to watch an entire season of your favorite TV show one time. What I'm trying to tell you is that in order to develop your listening comprehension skills, you must listen carefully and actively. What do I mean exactly? First, you must listen carefully. It doesn't help to listen to something in the background. You have to make sure that you can hear every sound. Second, you must listen actively. Imagine that you are listening to a set of instructions from your boss. You can't skip over any words or sounds that you don't understand. You would be extremely engaged in the recording. That's how you must listen when you are learning a language. How do you learn to listen carefully and actively? You may be surprised, but you won't need anyone's help. You can start right now. I call it vocal listening lesson. Select an audio in which one or more native speakers are talking about something. Make sure it's not too easy or too difficult for you to understand. You should understand about half of what is being said. Your job is very simple, almost childish, really. You need to listen to what they are saying and simultaneously, at the same time, attempt to pronounce something similar. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't matter how bad you sound. When you start, you will probably only be able to repeat individual syllables. But it is important that you try to copy the Russian speaker's intonation, speed, accent. Okay, let's see what happens if I try it right now.
Полежал на окне и соскучился.
Скучился, покатился
С окна
на
на
лавку,
с
лавки на пол,
По полу
к двери,
перепрыгнул
через
через
порог
порог да в
сени,
из синей на
крыльцо,
с крыльца на двор,
двор,
со двора за ворота и
покатился
по дороге
роги
все
дальше, дальше,
все дальше и дальше.
дальше. Okay, yes, it sounds funny, and I wasn't able to repeat all the words, but after several repetitions, I'm getting better. Колобок полежал на окне, скучился, соскучился, катился на лавку, с лавки на пол, да к двери, через порог да в сени, и на крыльцо, с крыльца на двор, ворота, и покатился роги дальше и дальше. This was vocal listening. I think you got the idea. Do you understand what we are trying to do? In order to understand the Russian native speaker, your vocal apparatus must be able to work very quickly with Russian sounds. Your vocal apparatus has never been as fast as native speakers' vocal apparatus. Even slow speech was too fast for it. For many people, the problem is not that they can't hear well. If you can hear native speech, you can also hear foreign speech. The speeds are almost the same. The problem is that your vocal muscles don't know how to work with Russian sounds in Russian mode. Here's a quick summary of our conversation. Native speakers talk very quickly, but that's not the primary reason you don't understand them. Russian words are longer than English words, and the Russian language is slower than English. Lots of passive listening isn't very helpful at all. The reason why it's hard for you to understand something in Russian isn't that your ears are bad. It's because of your vocal apparatus. Vocal listening lessons force your vocal apparatus to work at the speed of a Russian native speaker. How long do we need to practice vocal listening? What kind of results do we want? Imagine that you are listening to something through your headphones and practicing vocal listening. Anyone listening to you at this time should be convinced that you are speaking quickly and accurately in Russian, with perfect pronunciation and intonation. Once you reach that level, normal Russian speech will sound calm and relaxed to you. You will understand almost everything without much trouble, and even have time to think about what you are hearing. Here's your little assignment. Choose an audio file that is several minutes long. It should be fairly difficult, but you should understand parts of it. Try to listen and repeat the audio in the same time. Pay attention to how you do. Repeat several times. Notice how you improve. Thanks for taking part in learning to know Russian. Until next time.